Alright, good morning class. Today we're going to talk about the importance of washing your hands with the use of plastic gloves. Now, before we start this subject matter, does anyone have any kind of question? Well, frankly, yes, Professor. I actually have a very... I apologize with the stupid question, but... Yes, got it.
This isn't the topic we had for today, did we?
Yes, will be. Well, excuse me, Professor, but I actually have a... Doesn't it seem like very sarcastic that you, a person with schizophrenia, is actually trying to tell us
what Australia is really?
That kind of seems bullshit, doesn't it? Australia, the country that has over 99% of its continent all for itself. While considered to be a very huge landscape paradise and the best place to enjoy Vegemite sandwiches, a landmark full of people with a rather colored dialect, it is quite a difficult topic to cover, yet why Australia? Oh well, I personally just think it's pretty much a good occasion to talk about it because it's a new country on the market, just like USA and Serbia. The thing about this country is the fact that it doesn't have too much history behind it. Or does it? Shit. Alright guys, I really gotta be honest here, like, while it would take forever for me to read probably the entire history of Australia off the Wikipedia, the most efficient way would be probably to split it into ages, right? So... Hold on, wait a minute. We have to keep in mind that because of the trade union protests back in the day, we wouldn't have today a legal minimum wage, so I suppose that this is a very must-known fact.
Bro, get off my land, this is literally my land car.
Then the Brits did what the Brits did best, eradicating the natives and oppressing the Chinese population. Then around 20% of the population went to war against Hitler, and then they decided that it shouldn't be as conservative as Hitler because they had to reintegrate themselves into the society and they had to push the idea of conservative away. Fun fact, if you have plans to go to Australia this summer, I have bad news for you.
Oh my god, bro.
And if that doesn't work on you, you really gotta, you hear me, really gotta avoid the kangaroos, man.
End of part 1. Intermission. End of intermission. Part 2.
Alright, so despite the fact that Australia got quite a lot of regional accents, and I mean a lot, we should actually focus on the main three, and the first one we should talk about is actually the cultivated accent, the one that's actually associated with the higher class. Pretty much the easiest way to recognize an Aussie accent that is kind of a higher class is by listening, so we should actually do that instead of having me explain it.
Yes, well no, I actually grew up in Melbourne.
Yeah.
And then I came to Sydney to go to the National Institute here and then got catapulted out, and I thought, well, I'll give it 5 years and see what happens.
Johnny Depp's one of the great character actors of our time, I believe. Trapped in a leading man's body. He's got the best of both worlds. He has a brilliantly absurd sense of humour.
Most people aren't aware of it, but 1975 was, I think, the only year since the migration program began when more people left Australia.
Well, the broad accent is actually the easiest one to recognize by ear and then say, yep, that's an Aussie. Despite the fact that it's kind of met in the countryside of Australia, it's kind of hard to listen to because it kind of begs the question, is that really English, what am I hearing? So yeah, let's take a listen instead.
And I do meet women around the world, and really the only thing they know about Australia is they might know something about kangaroos, something about koalas, and about that speech.
Do you miss the outback? Oh, absolutely. First thing, get off the plane, mate. Didn't go home. Boom, straight into the bush, threw me swag out, camped under the stars, and I was healed up. Piece of cake.
Wonderful and weird at the same time. I had the rare and exotic thing of being the flavour of the month or flavour of the year almost for about a year.
Yeah.
And then it all, if you haven't sort of come out with another blockbuster, it's all over. You're forgotten.
The general accent is usually the one that you are most likely to experience while being face to face with a real Aussie, while also being the I don't have an accent kind of accent. You'd be surprised to find out how many of your favorite actors might turn out to be Aussies. Brings joy to the eye.
It was so much fun, and I'd sort of forgotten how much fun you can have and are allowed to have at work, you know, because a lot of the movies I work on are, you know, quite dramatic, and sometimes the sets are very, very serious. So to go to work where, you know, laughing your head off all day long was kind of encouraged and you didn't get into trouble was so novel.
2 musicals early on, which shocked me that I was even up for a musical. And I was an actor, theatre actor, really. And then I couldn't get seen for films back in Sydney. This is way back in mid-90s.
Look, I notice where the water moves. I notice, you know, how it's around me. And if, you know, someone's out with their kick, I hear that and I kind of feel it. It does affect me a little bit.
And as if this video wasn't like crazy enough, I suppose we should actually end it up more with a sweetener with some more fun facts with the land down under. But how do we get back there in the down? Now, I don't have any kind of money on me, but I swear, I bet on every single one of you, you cannot understand this next phrase of this popular song.
Traveling in a fried-out combi. Traveling in a fried-out combi.
I know you're not curious, but it said traveling in a fried-out combi. So that's a very strong accent, so you can actually understand why it was like kind of interesting to talk about this. Also, fun fact, those Aussie kids you're seeing right now, that were like back in 95, they were like actually around 15 years old when they were performing right in the MTV Music Video Awards, and it kind of begs the question, what are you doing? You're like 20 and they were like 15 here. Anyway, da la un moment dat prim-ministru Scott Morrison a făcut pe el într-un McDonald's, nu glumesc, căutați pe Google.
How I love this pretty bed. Now I'll rest my weary head. Good night.